So I'm about to head out to my friend Korresha Maat's place, and she is gonna go ahead and install some waist beads for me. Now, these are traditionally African waist beads, but because she made it clear that because she's not in Africa, she doesn't want to say that it's African waist beads. She's not doing the traditional ceremony. Whether it be beads worn on their wrist, their necklaces, things like that, it's kind of like a traditional African thing, even for different tribes to wear different types of beads to signify certain things. Now, these things could be protection from evil spirits, rite of passage, sexuality, you know, being able to tell whether they've gained weight or lost weight, what tribe you're from. I mean, there's so many different reasons why you would want to wear it. Me in particular, I want to get a waist bead installation because for a long time I thought that I was too overweight to get something like this. And now that I'm all about this body positivity and loving myself where I am right now, before I make any changes to my body, I would love to get something that would, you know, signify that in a way. I also just think it looks really cool. Now, we're all about body positivity in this channel, so we're gonna go ahead and get these beads, and you're gonna see a lot of my skin, so just a forewarning. Now let's go ahead and meet Korresha.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Hello, everyone. My name is Korresha Maat, and I am here with Tanisha. And we are actually here specifically to do a waist bead tying. And I wanted to also introduce myself to her community and whoever else is watching. And so, again, my name is Korresha Maat, and I am a holistic practitioner where I assist individuals in expanding consciousness. I do that through talk therapy. I do that through shamanic plant medicine as well. I do it through one-on-one coaching, as well as classes and courses and a couple of books that I have written. So I want to share a little bit about my journey, which I've always been on the journey. The journey didn't start, but I can always pinpoint a time when it became more conscious. I became more aware that I was on a journey of returning back home to myself, returning back home to the divine, which was in 2018 after a separation that sent me into a depression for a few months. And during that process, I began to search for truth, to search for myself. What was life all about? Who am I? Why am I here? And so when I began to ask those questions, which I call them the miracle questions, and I often guide my clients to ask those questions as well. Who am I and why am I here? And when we begin to get more sincere and genuine with those questions, the answers will come. And so at some point, the answers began to come for me. And I went into some really deep healing quite a bit of childhood trauma, as well as sexual trauma. And then I began to meet my mentors, who were mostly in the world of shamanism, a lot of plant medicines. And so I began to see that there was a specific path for me, specifically because of the teachers and mentors that were coming into my life. And so I've been on the shamanic path since then, assisting others as well, while healing myself at the same time, and really just coming back home to my heart. One of my offerings that I do offer is waist bead ceremonies, waist bead tie-in, womb ceremonies. And so when I first began to get the nudge in 2019 to start offering waist beads in my practice, it came very intuitively through dreaming, listening to the divine, and there was a specific way that I had to work with the waist beads that's going to be different from a lot of people who work with waist beads. And so my instruction was to bring them in for women around their womb, to help them with womb healing, womb cleansing. Also to bring in the sensuality and the sexuality and the creativity of women. And there's something very special and magical that happens inwardly when women do put these waist beads on. And so it brings out their beauty that has been laying dormant sometimes, their sensuality, their creativity, that feminine energy that we have not really been tapping into. And so that was my instruction. And so when I'm creating from the guidance of the Creator, the Most High, the Divine Mother. And so I have to listen. And sometime during the process, sometime I get messages that I have to give to the women who are calling in the waist beads. I don't do it really for fashion. Most times when women are drawn to the work that I do with waist beads, they're drawn to me energetically. They're not drawn to me for the fashion. And fashion is one of the reasons why some women bring in the waist beads. But generally, if they're coming to me, it's more intuitively, energetically, and at a soul level because of the intentions that I put in the work that I do. So that is me. I can be found on Instagram at Korresha Maat, where you can see many of my offerings. Again, I do one-on-one mentoring as well as group coaching. I also work with shamanic plant medicines to assist people with cleansing themselves at a physical, psychological, emotional, and spiritual level. And so that is a way that you can contact me. Thank you so much. So, in the way that I define African waist beads is really tapping into the tradition of African waist beads. And because I am not in the continent, on the land of the continent, receiving the supplies of the African continent, then I define them really from a spiritual, intuitive perspective. I do honor the tradition. I do honor the origin of the indigenous women and men who worked with the waist beads from Africa and other indigenous cultures as well. But here, because I am in the United States, I work with them from a different perspective. So your waist beads, as I was working with them, what was coming up was, and you can tell me if this resonates with you, that you can spend a lot of time in the ethers, like in the head space, okay? Yeah, this is what was coming up, and that's fine. It's okay. It's not nothing wrong or right about it. But what Spirit is wanting many of us to really, that those who are in these realms, who have awakened to who they are and different things like that, to learn how to be here. On earth, to be planted, your feet here, right? And because we want to know so much, we want to, all of the high frequency things, we want to know so much, but we're not here being human, right? And so the carnelian came, which is one of the grounding stones that kind of works in those lower chakras that we know. And then you also have some clear quartz on here as well, just that clarity. It felt like something was just, you wasn't sure about something. And so the clear quartz came for that. But definitely the energy of grounding is right now. Do you ever go and just like spend time on the earth? Just like have your feet planted on the earth?
I like hiking, but it's been a while because going back to being in my head a lot, I like to, or I would say this is more ego. I like to say if I'm gonna hike, it needs to be 7 miles. So if I can't do the 7 miles, then I won't go. Which is ridiculous, I know, but that's just how I am.
Yeah, spending some time with your bare feet on the earth is going to be good. Leaning up against some trees, making sure that you have your earthy herbs, like some of the ones that are more grounding, like any of your nettles, any of your burdock roots, any of your root type of herbs is going to be really good.
Yeah, there's I literally have a backyard. I should just go out there and stand in the backyard.
That's all I do. I put a chair out there that's low enough to the ground, and I sit there with my feet, and then the sun will be on me, so you're getting both energies. You're getting the negative electromagnetic field and the positive electromagnetic field. All right, so just kind of to yourself. First, I want you to place these in your hands. Just kind of feel them, feel the energy of them. If you have a certain intention that you want to set for them,
are they tight off? Okay.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. And they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's so funny because I actually, my friends keep telling me, oh, you should get into jewelry making. Listen, I can't. Like, I can barely, my fingers are big. And so I'll just drop everything and get frustrated.
Navel, here.
Let's do navel if possible, because I think that's where I measure.
That's where you measure.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I got a little cool.
Okay. This is so cool.
It is.
Yeah, once upon a time, I was definitely one of those people that thought that you have to have a flat tongue to have a waist bead.
Oh gosh.
I know, it's just, and that's not knowing anything about it. So.
Right.
Now I'm like, I've seen people go to the gym with them on because I know that's also technically a, you know, way to tell if you've gained weight or not.
Waist beads are on. They do not come off. Okay? The only time they're going to come off is if you have to pull really hard. You literally can pull a 35-pound fish on this string. I mean, a 50-pound fish on this string. And without it breaking, you would have to pull very, very, very hard.
That's good.
If something, you can always, you know, when you're ready to cut, you can always cut at, you know, for ritual or whatever, if you're just ready to get rid of them or something like that. A lot of people are going to, you just gonna need to turn it around.
Yeah, it's getting caught in the roll.
I need to move out of the way from
No, no, you're fine. It's actually pointed toward me. See, now I can see it.
You have a mirror too, yeah. So you can actually see in the mirror.
Oops. I love those roses. Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you. It's so funny because I didn't wear all blue today on purpose, by the way.
Yeah.
I haven't really like connected to blue lately.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes. On whatever, tag me and whatever, all of it is good.
Okay.
Yes.
I will.
It was truly a pleasure to serve you.
Now these waist beads shockingly became looser than when she first installed them on me. Not really sure why, but because it was drooping below my belly once I got home, I decided to tie it up in the back. And then I noticed something really interesting before I went to bed, and that was when I had the waist beads flush against my skin, it felt like a warm embrace. But all in all, this was a really great experience, and I can't wait to get more.